Ron here. It's been a while since I recorded a video, but I'm back. I was excited about a game that I just got in the mail, so I just wanted to show it off and talk to you folks about it. Got this monstrosity here. It is the Everyday Heroes core rulebook, designed by a team of designers and published by Evil Genius Games. And if you don't know what that is, it is a spiritual successor to D20 Modern. And I have some affection for D20 Modern. I played a lot of it when it came out 20 years ago. I had always been looking for a 5th edition version of D20 Modern. A few of the same folks that did the design 20 years ago worked on this game. It's a 5th edition port of 5e. I want to talk about some differences here. One of the things is that it only goes up to 10th level, and it packs in the options in those 10 levels, which is nice. And I really think that 10 levels is sufficient with a 5th edition game. I've run games above 10th level. The combat can be a really, can be a real slog or what have you. Other folks have talked about high-level D&D games. I don't need to really get into that. But I feel like 10 levels is pretty good. Also, back in the 3rd edition days, I don't know if you folks realize this, but there was a design intent with each quartile of play in 3rd edition. I can't remember who said it, but 3rd edition was really broken down into 4 quartiles of play. Levels 1 through 5 was like, sword and sorcery, gritty fantasy, and then level 6 through 10 was like heroic fantasy, and then 11 through 15 was wuxia, and 16 through 20 was superheroes. And you can really see that in the 3rd edition play as you went up in the tiers. And while 5th edition isn't and exactly like that, it feels a whole lot like that. And even when you read the DMG, it actually breaks down the tiers of play and what kind of impact you have and what kind of powers you have. So there's some similar DNA in that. And so by keeping it down to 10 levels, they're keeping the D20 Modern closer towards the gritty style play and also the action hero style play. So by default, the game has 6 base classes they call archetypes, and each one is based on an ability score. You have the strong hero for strength, agile hero for dex, the tough hero for con, you have the smart hero for intelligence, the wise hero for wisdom, and the charming hero for charisma. And each of those archetypes have 3 or 4 subclasses, which they call classes in this book, but really they're subclasses. Another thing is, instead of race, you get your bonuses from your combination of a background and a profession, because the default assumption is in modern games that people are going to be playing humans. So, there's that going on. And of course, you have combat that's tweaked for modern style games. Instead of your armor class, you have defense, which I really like. And the thing is that each archetype keys their defense bonus off of their primary stat. So instead of everyone using dex as a bonus to their armor class, the strong hero, for example, uses strength, and like the little flavor is meat shield. And of course, dex is, fast reflexes. The smart hero is basically can plan, can see things coming 2 steps ahead, so that helps them in the defense and all this kind of stuff. Wise heroes have intuition and I forget what charming heroes have, but you get the point. There's rules for chases in here, which are in vehicles, which are great. I want to talk a little bit more about the armor rules. Instead of wearing armor to increase your armor class or defense, your armor has an armor value, and it only comes into play when you would be reduced to 0 hit points. Each weapon also has a penetration value, and so what would happen is when you would be reduced to 0 hit points, you would compare your armor's armor value to the weapon's penetration value. And if your armor value is equal to or greater than that penetration value, you get an armor save. It's simply a d20 roll that the DC is half of the damage taken, rounded down. And if you make the save, you actually take no damage, but your armor is not broken. So that's neat. Some folks are not going to like that, but I think it works great. I think it's a rule that gets out of the way, but except for when it like matters in the story, because this game like really leans into the concept of hit points as a combination of things like luck and timing and endurance, as well as physical damage, which really what it was from the get-go. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good addition. Another thing I want to talk about is the wealth system. Now in D20 Modern, they have this wealth system, abstract wealth instead of dealing with straight dollars and cents, right? But one of the complaints about it is that the system just got to be weird and a little complex. And the new wealth system is just simple. It's just 6 levels. Actually, it's 7 levels because you have level 0, which is dirt poor, but you have like level 6, which is like super villain rich, but no players can get to that level. Most players will be somewhere between levels like 1 to 4, where 2 is like middle class, and 3 is like upper class, affluent, and 4 is like actually like rich, maybe maybe even millionaire level. And what you do is you just compare your wealth level to the price level of the item, and if it's equal to or lower, then you get to have it within reason. And if the price level is above that, you work out something with the GM to figure out what you need to do to get it, because people can reach up and get items that are really expensive, just like in real life, and take on debt and do all other kinds of stuff. It can, of course, that stuff can make for some interesting stories. So there's plenty going on. I got on this kick because on Monday I played in a one-shot with a bunch of guys on the Mr. Mean server. Hi, Mr. Mean. It was GM by Brian Isakoff, who's a nice guy and somebody I was actually aware of from his 2D6 in a Random Direction podcast days. But he did a good job running the scenario, although we only got halfway through it. I had a ton of fun playing a charming hero who is a leader class with a military type. I don't play, charisma characters, but that was one of the only options that were available. And I chose to go with it just to get a little bit out of my comfort zone. And I had a blast playing that character with the different options, and because the charming heroes, they have influence, which has some similar mechanics to what bards can do with their bardic inspiration. But the leader type felt like playing a 4E warlord, and that's really cool. Check this game out. It's on Drive-Thru-RPG. I think you can buy the book there. You could also buy the book on the Evil Genius website. So, and there's a free quick start if you're curious about the game but don't want to put money in it. It's a game that I highly recommend, so go check it out. Until next time, see you later.